Definitely a whole lot of questions.
All right. So 15 questions. That's it. Yeah, we have a lot of 15 questions. Okay. So, plane rises from takeoff and flies at an angle of 13 degrees with horizontal runway. When it has gained 900 feet, find the distance to the nearest that the plane has flown. So, they're nice enough to draw us a picture to say, hey, we want the hypotenuse. We have the height. Which one, okay, so the angle's 13. So, the 900, is that opposite or adjacent?
Opposite.
It's opposite. So, if we have opposite and we want hypotenuse, we're going to use sine. So let me pull up OneNote right quick.
She said.
There we go.
I hope not. I can't get
okay. So we have 13 C 900. So like y'all said, come on, write you stupid pen. There we go. Sine of 13 is opposite. You wrote for a second, you can do it, over hypotenuse. So C would be 900 over sine of 13. So I do not care about Windows 10. What made you think I would?
You don't like Windows?
I'm not a huge fan. 4087. You think it's all right?
Yeah, I like better Windows 8.
Yeah.
I don't have it here.
Windows 8. I had Windows 8 on my laptop before. When I first got it, I spent probably 3 or 4 hours removing all the apps, making it interface like old school Windows. I mean, I got that thing awesome. And why I ever upgraded to Windows 10, I mean, I had the thing set up exactly like I wanted it, and then I just haven't put that effort in since I switched to Windows 10.
When I built my computer, I couldn't get Windows 7 on the system. And
Yeah.
I had Windows 8, but I was like, no, I created Windows 10.
Yeah.
Oh, that carries hard.
Okay, find the reference angle for 805. So reference angle, well, first of all, we subtract off 360s to get less than 360. So let's do that right quick. So 805 minus 360 is that, and it's that. Okay. So it's the coterminal angle. Is 85 degrees. And remember, reference angle is the angle between it and the x-axis. So in this particular one, that's the exact same thing. I was going to redraw it. There we go. So angle between it and the x-axis is still just 85 degrees. Boom. Now I'm really curious about Michaela. Okay, without using a calculator, can you tell what sine of 40 times cosecant of 40 is?
Hang on.
Yeah, one's at 1.
No, because cosecant is 1 over sine.
Right.
So then when you put the sine back in there,
Yeah, it's sine of 40 times 1 over sine of 40, which is what? That's not tricky.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, yeah, it's just like Courtney said, cosecant is 1 over sine. So if I go sine of 40 times 1 over sine of 40, you just get 1. What?
I had an eyelash dotting in the eye.
Okay. It was like, I was kind of getting curious. I mean, when you left, she doesn't like me anymore.
Oh.
but it's okay if your eyelash was just getting to you. Okay, sine is, so if you draw the unit circle, yeah, I mean, they're both positive in quadrant 1, so that kind of makes this easy. But let's go ahead and review the whole thing. Sine of theta is the y-coordinate, whereas cosine theta is the x-coordinate, and tangent theta is the slope. Well, y over x, yeah, which is the slope. So sine is going to be positive where y is positive, so that's quadrants 1 and 2. Come on, right?
One of those, you know, he looked at like question, things or whatever.
Mhm.
Like a chart of all of it, I just looked at that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I know how to do it this way too.
Come on, right?
I'm sorry, I'm being sarcastic with you.
Oh, no, that's a bit
That's awful. That's so bad, all the time.
We don't want to use like.
Dr. Sam, does this only happen in our
Apparently I do.
Oh, yeah,
There we go.
Dr. K.
Okay,
class?
so sine again is y, so it's going to be positive in quadrant 1, quadrant 2. Cosine's x, so it's positive in quadrants 1 and 4. Tangent is slope, so it's positive in quadrant 1 and quadrant 3. So if sine and tangent are both positive, that's only in quadrant 1. So they make you live across the tracks over in quadrant 3, where everything's negative except for slopes.
Oh my goodness.
All right, find the value of the 6 trigonometric functions of theta. Okay, so the missing side is, how am I going to get the missing side?
I gotta use you.
Pythagorean theorem, so 20 square plus 21 square equals square root 29 is the missing side. That's nice that it comes out even. Means we don't have to mess with square roots. So sine theta would be what? Yeah, it's opposite over hypotenuse, so 20 over 29. And cosine theta is? Yeah, 21 over 29. Tangent theta?
21 over 20.
Yeah, tangent's opposite over adjacent. Okay, Angel. Cosine's adjacent over hypotenuse, so that's 21 over 29. Tangent's opposite over adjacent, so that's 20 over 29. Cosecant is 1 over sine, right? So, wow. So 29 over 20. Secant is 1 over cosine.
So it'll be 29 over.
Yep. And cotangent is 1 over tangent. It's 21 over 20.
I thought I said, this is gonna be okay. Then I realized it's gonna go.
I think it's easier now.
Okay.
Thus far.
An object is attached to a coiled spring. The object is pulled down 2 centimeters and released. Write an equation for the displacement of the object after t seconds if the period is 8 seconds. So the 2 centimeters, where's that going to come into play? Yeah, that's the amplitude. It's pulled down, which it says is the negative direction. So I'm starting at a bottom. Yeah, so it's negative cosine starts at the bottom. So,
Is it cosine because it's,
Does it doesn't start at 0, it starts at.
yeah, sine starts at 0
Okay,
and goes up. Negative sine starts at 0, goes down.
okay.
Cosine starts at the top, comes
This
down.
is where the graph
Negative starts at the bottom.
starts.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And actually, we can get it just from that. But let's go ahead and do the period part too. So we said to do the period, it's 2 pi over whatever number's in front of the t. So the other way around, if I know the period, to get the number in front, it would be 2 pi over period. So 2 pi over 8 seconds is pi over 4. What's the domain and range of that function? What do you think?
I don't really like that.
Okay, so we're,
I'm gonna need you to explain, Dr. James.
okay, so cosine of x, cosine of x.
Okay.
Negative B.
So it'd be -1 to 1.
Okay. Let's, okay, cosine, you know, let's go back and do this the algebra way. Even if you know nothing about trig, you can do this problem. So cosine, well, you do need to know one thing from trig. You need to know that it maps infinity, negative infinity to infinity to -1 to 1, right? So inverse cosine, if I can get my pen to write, there we go. Inverse cosine, well, inverse functions always do the opposite. So it's going to map -1 to 1 to, well, the problem is it's not really an inverse function. I guess you do need to know something about trig. My bad. So let's go back to the unit circle. Cosine theta is the x. So what's every x coordinate we can have? Well, I mean, here's -1 to 1 on the x. We have to pick two quadrants that have every x value. I mean, in principle, we could pick like 1 and 3 or 3 and 4, but everybody has decided, hey, 1 and 2 have every x value. We're going to go with 1 and 2. So inverse cosine is chosen so that it's always in from 0 to pi. Right? So if you compose them together, inverse cosine of cosine, well, domain, I mean, we can put anything we want to into cosine. We'll get out something in -1 to 1, which that's in the domain of inverse cosine. So we can plug in anything we want to. So the domain is -infinity, infinity. And then for the range, well, we plug in something here. It gives us something in -1 to 1. We put that from -1 to 1 into inverse cosine. It gives us out something in 0 to pi. Actually, it's 0. No, it is close bracket pi. So the domain is -infinity, infinity. Range is 0 to pi.
Oh, that's the answer.
Yeah. You like that?
Start wearing my glasses, because I thought that he just typed, I thought he didn't press the word close. I thought he just put CO and that's it.
Okay. In case you're wondering, infinity, if you want to type it, is \INF.
Oh, I found out why why do I just put pi with the code on the used to, because I was putting divide by.
Slash pi.
So it made a lot of.
Oh, divide by 5 instead of \.
And it turned into.
Gotcha. The angle of elevation from the top of a house to a jet 7 miles above the house is x radians. So let's draw a picture. We did this problem last time. Last time Michaela was standing on the house.
That was a one.
Oh, it was?
Angel wants to stand on the house this time.
Angel wants to stand on the house. Here's Angel standing on the house.
Draw my big nose.
He said draw a big nose.
I'll get a lot of you.
Okay. All right. And then we have a plane flying above. And the plane is 7 miles, or what was it? Miles. Okay, 7 miles. That seems really high, but okay. And the angle of elevation is x. So 7. And it wants to know what's the horizontal distance from the house. So we're looking for this one. Which one so we have the opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse? 7. We have the opposite. We're looking for the adjacent. Which one has opposite and adjacent? Tangent.
At tangent.
So tangent.
A tangent.
Come on, write, you stupid pen.
It's doing what it always does to Dr. K. It's trying to type right now instead of you use the pen.
There we go. So tangent of x is 7 over the distance we want. So the distance we want is 7 divided by tangent, or I think what they want is 7 times cotangent of x.
Oh, that's a question.
And then graph that. So cotangent looks like what?
Cotangent is like,
Yeah, it looks like E. So tangent and cotangent kind of look like cube curves almost, but tangents forwards and cotangents flipped around backwards.
there you go. That's what I was looking for. Really?
Happy birthday.
I was like, I thought your birthday was in October. I was confused.
What?
Was there, you choose the letter of top?
Yes, it was B.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Okay. A note on a piano has a frequency of 480. Suppose the maximum displacement at the center of the piano wire is 0.9. Find constants A and W so that D of A models the displacement. So maximum displacement is, the official name is the amplitude. Where does amplitude go in the equation? Right at the beginning. So 0.09 cosine of, okay, it says the frequency is 480. The omega is not quite the frequency, it was the angular frequency. What's the difference between frequency and angular frequency?
Good question.
Okay.
Good question.
Okay, so let's write this down one more time. We've said it a few times now, but let's write it one more time. Let's write it. Let's write it.
Right.
Write it. Okay. Hey, cosine omega t minus phi. So A is the amplitude. Omega is the angular frequency, which omega is 2 pi f, where f is the regular frequency. And this is also 2 pi over t, where t is the period. And even though you can get it from what we already have, the frequency is 1 over the period and vice versa. And then last but not least, the phi that we don't have in this problem. This is the phase shift. But again, we don't actually have a phase shift in this one. So, since they gave us the frequency, if we want the angular frequency, just times it by 2 pi. So, this would be 960 pi. Pi.
No, that.
Oh, except that was 969 is what I actually typed, didn't I? 960 pi. And this is where Alana says, it's my party. And I'm, Angel, you're just not a very healthy person. Okay.
He says,
He was
that
like,
he
he doesn't
drinks
like
and stuff.
that.
I know. I'm the one that's been calling that on.
I'm not being like,
I'm not mean, I just think it's quite ironic.
Oh, man, that feels good.
Okay, so we've kind of already done several like this already. If you wanted the whole bottom, well, tangent of 40 would be 400 over the whole bottom. So the whole bottom is 400 divided by tangent of 40. The part we don't want is 400 divided by tangent of 64. So I've just got 400 divided by 40 tangent. That's all the way across the bottom. But then minus 400 divided by 64 tangent. So
Big time for.
282. That was actually one thing I thought was really funny when I was in Berkeley. Of course, Berkeley is very, very liberal. One day I was walking down the hallway where all the grad students who teach classes and stuff, and somebody had put their quiz up next outside their office so that everybody could be amused by it. The question started out, President George Bush wants to build a giant rectangle in space to combat terrorism. And
Oh
it just,
my
it's
gosh.
like, yep.
Wait, hold on. What is that?
We wait for no one. Okay, so all we did was we did 400 divided by tangent 40, and then we subtracted 400 divided by tangent of 64. Choose 13 pi over 4 radians. So the important part is the fraction. So 13 over 4 is between what? So straight up is what angle in radians?
It's pi over 2.
Yeah, pi over 2, and then pi, and then 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi, and so forth. So 13 over 4 is like 3 1/4, right? So,
Oh, okay, gotcha.
okay, 13 divided by 4 is 3 with a remainder of 1.
Yeah, I got you.
So-
I'm sorry. I was like,
So to pi is 1, to 2 pi is 2, to pi again is 3, and then 1/4. So I'm down here in quadrant 3. So all the way around is 2 pi, then the half is 3, and then I've got another 1/4 on top of that.
You have a conjugate 3,
okay.
so it'll be D.
Yes.
No, that'd be 3.
And based on the figure, the angle lies in quadrant 3. 3, my lord. Pick number 3. What was that from?
Sure.
All right. Except I think it's actually 3, my lord.
You did. 3, my
3,
lord.
pick number 3. It's like, I don't know. If I was the prince, it's like, okay, do you pick the girl that you have to kiss to wake up? Or do you pick the girl that's being guarded by a fire-breathing dragon? It's like, who picks the fire-breathing dragon?
Yeah, let's be honest.
Unless you were sending someone else to do it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It was less dangerous and probably more of less of a
Yeah, but
threat.
then you gotta deal with those little 7 doors. I'd be freaked out.
7 dwarves, 1
Sleeping
dragon.
Beauty is not.
Oh.
It is
Oh,
not. Seven
So
doors.
right. I'm going along with them.
All right, so you see a circle.
Oh, no.
I mean,
Yeah,
Snow White was asleep too.
Yeah,
She was also asleep.
Yeah.
That's
But-
definitely not who Dr. Shay was talking about though.
Anyway,
I had a brain fart.
you see a circle to find side of pi, and the periodic properties to find side of 3 pi. Okay, side of pi. Pi we said was in the negative x direction. Sine is which? The x or the y coordinate?
Sine is the Y.
Yeah, sine is the y. So if I'm over here, the y is 0. And then sine of 3 pi is the same thing.
Oh, that's pretty dumb.
Mm-mm.
You really want to eat 3 pies right now, don't you, Angel? I figured that's where this was going to go.
I want Bobby to choose this thing.
Ooh.
How am I gonna fix it?
Okay. So tangent
What do I know?
looks like a cube curve that's is okay. Does it look like the A one or the B one? Just general.
Tan looks like the A one.
Yeah. So the answer is either A or D.
Right?
The +1 is going to do what to it?
Shift it
Just
to the
up
left.
one,
Well, no, it's going to shift it up one.
up one.
And then the minus pi over 5 is going to shift it to the left or right?
To the right.
To the right. So Yeah.
It went the other way.
anyway, what?
That's his thing.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Okay. So A is shifted up. It looks like D is shifted down. So they're both shifted to the right. Did you just say because A1?
Yeah, it means.
That's a horrible pun. No, I don't want to hear the story. Let's finish the test. Let's finish the test first. All right. Determine the amplitude, period, phase shift of the given function and graph the function. So let me copy that back down. So 1/4 sine x plus pi over 2. For a second, I really thought that Alana was going to say A1 is awesome sauce.
No.
I feel like when you have that perfect steak, you don't need anything on it.
Oh, I hate steak sauce. It's like
Me too.
the only reason to have steak sauce is people that burn their steaks.
Yeah.
It's like meat is supposed to be consumed rare.
Good boy, Dr. Sam.
Okay.
I love that. You know the people I know that just burn the entire
Yeah.
the crap out of their steaks. I'm like, if you're gonna do that, you should just gone and eaten a piece of tar because you just wasted that steak.
I mean, you really, there's a reason why people call it shoe leather when you cook it like that, because that's what it is. Okay. So normally, if there was a number in front of the x, we would have to factor it out, because remember, it looks like a. So, come on. You were writing. It's not fair when it writes one mark and then doesn't keep on writing. Okay. So a sine of omega x minus phi. So normally, if there was an omega, we would have to factor that out from this thing, but right now omega is 1 anyway, so it's like, okay. So the amplitude's 1/4. What all they asked for. Anyway, the omega is 1, which means the frequency would be 1 over 2 pi. So the period would be 2 pi over 1, which is 2 pi. And the phase shift, well, this is minus phi is pi over 2, so the phase shift is actually minus pi over 2.
Okay.
So the amplitude is 1/4. The period is 2 pi. No, you can't just tap pi. You really do have to tap the backslash. You lied to me, Angel.
Well, I already told you that. I put.
Okay, so we want a sine. Just gonna click somewhere. Okay, the amplitude is 1/4. Period is 2 pi. Vertical shift is 0. Phase shift is minus pi over 2. Okay, that looks okay. Find the value of any of the composite function. So, let me draw a picture again. So, here's, it drew half the circle. Okay, 4 pi over 3. Where's 4 pi over 3?
Third pocket.
Yep, so it's slightly bigger than 1, right? Here's 4 pi over 3. And tangent is the
Y over X.
Yeah, it's the slope. So if I do inverse tangent of tangent,
It'll be X over Y.
okay. Inverse is not the same as 1 over. 1 over tangent is cotangent. Inverse tangent means what angle has that number for the slope, right? Okay, so what this says, it says, okay, find 4 pi over 3, find the slope. Inverse tangent, we always said, right. There we go. Inverse tangent is always either in quadrant 1 or quadrant 4. So we're looking for an angle in either quadrant 1 or quadrant 4 whose slope is the same as the slope of that line. Yeah, if I just extend it out to quadrant 1, and well, this is pi from here to here, so 4 pi over 3 minus pi is pi over 3. That's the answer. Oh, and then we have,
Oh my gosh.
you have no love in your heart, in your soul. We could go back and click whatever we want, check our work.
I think number 42.
Number 42,
14.
number 14. Let's look at number 14.
Go to the graph. You just do all in negative 2. 1.75.
Okay, well, we're going to try it. Let's hit submit test. Oh, and it went well. Yay. So
Oh,
everybody's going to do the same thing come, it's still a long way. It's like a week from next Friday. So 2 weeks from today is, I guess, when the test actually is. Because homework 3 is due next week. Homework 4 is due the next Tuesday. And then it'll be that Friday. So we're pretty far ahead in this
you
class.
still do that thing
We
where
might have to have another go to the lab and work on homework day on Monday or since we last Tuesday. No, we can't do that. But
We did.
Can we have like a donut party?